Hey, it's Mateo Lopez of Two Brain Marketing, and on this edition of the Two Brain Marketing Podcast, I'm talking to Rob from CrossFit Simsbury. You're going to hear about their specialty programs and how he and his wife Denise were able to completely sell out their Diapers and Dumbbells program for new moms. You're also going to learn about how they were able to take $300 in advertising spend and turn it into $4,000 in new member revenue. Make sure to subscribe to Two Brain Radio for more marketing tips and secrets each week. Hello, welcome to the Two Brain Marketing Podcast. I'm your host, Mateo Lopez. I'm one of the digital marketing mentors at Two Brain Business. And thank you again for tuning in. This is your weekly dose of digital marketing magic. Every week we go over marketing campaign strategies, useful tips, updates, and listen to cool stories about people who are doing it in the real world. And today we have a special guest, Rob from CrossFit Simsbury. Berry, like a fruit. But I think it's spelled with a U. So
Simsbury, Connecticut.
It's a little tricky. And today we're going to learn a little bit more about Rob. And I'm really excited to hear about his Diapers and Dumbbells program. He's been able to sell it out pretty much every cycle. The first time he ran some paid ads, he spent only $200 or $300, was able to sell out the program. So we're going to learn more about that and how he's able to do that. I want to know what happened. So I'm excited. Thanks for joining us today, Rob.
Thanks for having me, Mateo. Appreciate it.
So tell us a little bit about who you are, where you're from, and a little bit about your business.
So my name is Rob Olson. I own CrossFit Simsbury. We're about half an hour north of Hartford. I've owned it for about 6 years now. Before this, I was in the Navy. And when I got out, I decided to open CrossFit. No background in business, marketing, even fitness per se. I kind of learned it all on the go.
Did you learn about it from being in the Navy? Yeah,
we did CrossFit in the Navy. I actually had Dave Castro as one of my instructors.
Oh, really?
So that's where I originally learned about CrossFit. And
wow. Was he just like visiting a camp or what? How did that happen?
Yeah, he was one of my instructors at the time. So when he was doing his instructor duty, I was one of the students.
Oh, right. I forgot he's a SEAL, right? Or something like that. I forgot about that. Okay, cool.
Yep. So we've been open about 6 years now. And I started with Two Brain back in November with Greg. Since then, it's been night and day difference. I mean, I can't say enough good things about Two Brain and Two Brain marketing. It's really revolutionized the business.
Awesome, man. So you said you've been open for 6 years. Mm-hmm. I guess when you got out of the Navy, what made you decide to open the business? Like that's a pretty big jump, you know?
So my main thought was, what can I do every day that I would enjoy? That was my main qualifying criteria. And then I was trying to think, what small business could I open that would allow me to do that? And I had heard about CrossFit, and I'd heard how they only had a small affiliation fee, and it was a relatively easy step into entrepreneurialism. And so I kind of made the jump when I got out.
Awesome. So, 6 years, that's a long time. Like, kudos to that, just being able to have survived.
Yeah.
What was it?
Hasn't been easy.
Yeah. Well, what was it like in those early days?
Oh my God. I remember back, having one person at the 6 a.m. and me being the only coach, and basically just hoping that people would drive by and see us and sign up. And thinking back to those early days, I was giving away every discount, every free month, everything that I could to try to get people in.
Were you doing it solo for the whole time, or what was the...
Yeah, so I've been solo. I had coaches that started with me on day one, and I had to teach them how to be a coach and teach them about CrossFit the whole bit. So I've been the only, owner personality per se, but I have had coaches that have helped me along the way.
Yeah, so I guess tell me a little bit about business pre-Two Brain. I know you've been running it solo, small classes, giving away discounts. What else was life like, running the show by yourself?
It was, on one sense, it was very enjoyable being an entrepreneur, but in the other sense, it was very frustrating because I was still doing the majority of coaching. I'd do some cleaning. I would do, the finances, everything that everybody talks about. I was wearing all the hats. So there was definitely some burnout, definitely some frustration, and now I just have more clarity.
Well, you were able to survive. You were, I'm assuming, making enough to pay your bills, correct?
Yeah. So looking back to the early days, there were some, I want to say twice I had to borrow money from my grandmother because the oil bills were higher than I expected. The town I'm in has very little industrial space. And so the spot I'm in, it's actually almost a 10,000 square foot building, which I've been in since day one. And so that's obviously way too big for a first year affiliate. But we've made it work. The biggest thing has been that heating bill to get over, but now that we're kind of established and I've got a rhythm to the whole thing, and I do profit first now, which has been huge as well. But now we're kind of grooving, and everything's working out pretty good.
Okay. So, what was the first kind of changes you saw once you started going through the incubator? It sounds like you were wearing all the hats. What was the first action you took working with Greg that kind of enabled you to start to say, oh, wait a second, I can reverse this burnout effect if I just do X, Y, and Z?
Creating the roles and tasks. And that was a bitch. I did not enjoy doing that, but it was a lot of work. But now, just even 6 months later, it's so easy hiring someone and being like, all right, you're going to be a cleaner. Here's exactly what you're responsible for. You just hand it to them, and they're like, all right, got it, done, and everything's so much easier.
Yeah, roles and tasks is huge. How many people do you have on staff now?
Let's see, it's myself. My wife does the nutrition with HSN, and she does dumbbells and diapers and the kids and teens program. We have 2 other coaches, and we're bringing on one more coach who's going to take over the teens program and do the 4-9 split next month, actually.
Did you have to work with your coaches at all to be like, hey, we're going to maybe have some staff evals now. Hey, actually, we're going to have to write out what some of these responsibilities are. Hey, what was that process like when you were starting to go through roles and tasks and trying to get your team on board?
So that's a good question. And 90% of the staff has been on board the whole time, the evaluations, the roles and tasks. And we did actually have one coach quit. And I would say one of the bigger reasons was he was one of the original coaches. So he was here day one. And I would say that was back when everything was more club atmosphere and we were more buddies. And he probably just didn't like the direction that we were going of being more professional.
Yeah, it's definitely like the early days. It's like, hey, you can hang out on the couches and just do whatever. And then,
exactly. We had a lot of that.
Yeah. And it's definitely hard. It's a culture shift, and it's tough. And especially when the whole gym feels like everyone's a family. It's nice in that respect. You want that community, but at the same time, it's hard to run a business and make the hard calls if everyone's feeling that kind of sense of entitlement or that sense of, yes, not entitlement, but, informal kind of relationship,
Absolutely. I remember, I think it was just a year ago, and coaches were still allowed to work out during open gym.
Right.
So,
that's a great
back at it. It's like
great example.
They're not doing business, but people will come in and then the shirt would, the coach would have his shirt off and it'll be like the most intimidating environment to come into ever. So it's like we were killing ourselves and I was trying to be too friendly with the coaches.
Yeah, that's a great example of what I think I was trying to say. Not successfully, but yeah, just small things like that. When you have prospects walk in or even your current clients, if they're walking in for a service that they're paying for, at least in my gym, they pay for open gym. You want a coach to be delivering that part of the service, hopefully clothed, So great. Awesome. So, okay. So roles and tasks, that seemed to be really big for you. It seemed to give you the headspace and the ability to delegate. What else? What was the next kind of thing that you saw that you were able to implement and see a positive difference working with Greg?
I'd say the next biggest thing was more of a fundamental shift on my end of that old cliche of working on the business instead of in the business. So one big thing is when you join Two Brain, you get the CEO mug. And every morning when I have my coffee out of that mug, it reminds me that I am the CEO and my job is to run the business. And so I think it's such a great, part of Two Brain. This simple reminder of being the CEO is what drives the business.
Yeah. And that I think I couldn't have said it better. That's awesome. And I think the other really important part is your job is to put the right people in the right seats.
Mm-hmm.
That's your job. And if you're doing everything, you may not be in the right seat yourself. You're not if you're doing all the tasks and
totally agree.
All the classes. And so your job is to get the people in the right places. And I think it sounds like you were able to do that, which is amazing. And so you've been working with Two Brain. You're able to level up a little bit and delegate and really see some growth. In your own words, what is it that you sell and how do you sell it?
I'd say we sell fitness and happiness. Obviously people come to us looking to improve their health and wellness. What they don't expect though is to find so much happiness from the community within. And I think that's really what keeps them around.
And how do you sell it?
So, and that's another big mindset shift that I've had recently is I follow the help first mantra. And once I adopted that, I kind of got over the fact that I'm selling something and that I'm actually helping people, because I have to remember that they're coming to us for help. And so when I'm selling now a 100-day transformation, for $500 a month, a year ago, I would have been no way. But now I'm thinking this person's coming to me for help. I'm providing a service. I'm helping them. If they want to choose to, do business with us, that's the value of the service.
Yeah. I mean, that's exactly right.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's when you put it that way, it's as simple as that. And I think that's so true. Well, so speaking about some of your services, talk to me about the other stuff that you guys have that you offer.
So we do CrossFit, we do personal training, we do nutrition with HSN, we do kids and teens, and one of the big new self-sustaining programs is Dumbbells and Diapers.
So I want to talk about that. With these programs, though, how do you structure it? How did you get them off the ground, first of all? And then how do you pay your staff? You said it's self-sustaining, so how do you pay your staff to deliver that service?
So it's a good question. So Dumbbells and Diapers, we've actually been doing for about a year now, and it's gone through some phases, I'll say. We started off with it being just a monthly membership, and we found that the mothers did not prioritize it when it was just kind of an open membership, so to say. So we started off pretty strong with about 10 or 12 people in a class, and then after maybe 6 months, we got to a pretty dark spot where it was only like 2 moms in a class, 1 mom in a class. And we started having conversations about, is this worth continuing? Your time is better spent doing something else. And we started getting to the holidays of this past year. And we're like, all right, let's take kind of a hiatus during the holidays. Moms aren't going to really come in much around Christmas and New Year's. And then that's when I was going through Two Brain. And so I learned the Two Brain marketing, and I was talking with Blake, and he was talking about promoting CrossFit, doing CrossFit ads. I was like, actually, I'd like to try and get this program really off its feet again. And so we specialized all our ads towards Dumbbells and Diapers.
Yeah, I want to talk about that some more. But before we do, so how did you first get it off the ground? Like, how did you first get those 10 moms? And why did you want to start it?
So my wife was she was a pediatric nurse, and we had our first child. He's 15 months now. So she had gone through the whole having a baby and then trying to get back into fitness, feeling the struggles. And we were talking about it, and like, this is a great service to offer people because nobody offers it around us. It's just nobody wants to touch it. And I was like, you have great experience. We have the means to offer it. I was like, let's do it. So she started researching programs, finding out some, I don't want to say they're certifications, but she did some homework on how to really bring the women back into fitness and improve their pelvic floor and their core strength and all that stuff. And so she felt comfortable running the classes. And I want to say when we first started, I probably did do paid advertising, but I did it blindly, I'll say. And that I kind of just threw money at Facebook. Maybe it was boosting ads. Maybe I did an ad, but back then I didn't have landing pages. I didn't have any kind of lead management. And so thankfully word got out because moms did come. But there wasn't anything organized.
And what is this? Is it for people who just recently had a baby, or who's this for?
Yeah, so we like to say it's for new moms, and that's kind of a broad term, and we kind of want it that way. And that most of the moms who join have had a baby within the last 2 or 3 months, but we do have some moms who are coming to us like 9 months out, a year out, and that's totally fine. Most moms bring the baby to class with them. And it kind of gives them another bonding experience. And most moms don't want to be separated from their baby at that young age. So it kind of encourages them to do fitness with their baby. And so most of the moms, they bring their kid to class and they're in a pack and play or in a stroller or something like that. And there's definitely some crying babies in class, which makes for a unique environment. But with all the new moms out there and with my wife, Denise, running it, it really is a good program and they all enjoy it.
So Denise runs this, his baby's running around, they're crying, moms are working out. That's amazing. And so let's say if you were going to have, I mean, Denise is running this for you, but let's say you were going to have another coach do it or add another class. How would you structure that? How are you compensating that coach?
Right. So right now, Denise, she's my wife. So obviously all the revenue just comes to us. But if I were to have a coach take over, I would do the 4-9s program. Denise is actually, she runs the kids and the teens, and we're bringing on a new coach, and we're going to do the 4-9s program with the kids and the teens program. So
the 4-9s model with the other coaches is it coming on?
Correct.
Gotcha. So then let's talk about working with Blake. You know, how did you guys revitalize this program and get new bodies in the door?
So Blake helped me set up my Facebook advertisements. We kind of went through and he was looking at some of my pictures, and then we tried using some stock photos, and we talked about how to target in the local area. And honestly, I think it's still pretty amazing about how Facebook does it and how you can dial in down to the zip code, and I can target literally moms who have had a baby within the last 2 years. Pretty amazing. So obviously the ad gets out in front of these people. They still have to click it, but Blake helped me dial it in for the wording and everything. And it's been very successful.
And so what happens? A new mom sees this ad, they click on, they inquire, that their email, their number comes to you. What happens?
So we actually do this kind of different from our regular CrossFit in that we do not do a no sweat intro with dumbbells and diapers.
Interesting. Tell me about that.
So I was talking about Denise, and moms with young babies do not want to make an extra stop if they don't have to. If they're out doing errands, an extra stop, that can make or break the whole thing. So we didn't want them to have to do that. So when they go to our landing page, they fill out our up launch lead form. And when they go to the thank you page, they do have the option just to sign up right then and there. So we're capitalizing on just the spur of the moment. Yeah, I want to get back into fitness. Here's the sign up link. If they don't sign up right then and there, then they go on our up launch campaign of where we do have a dumbbells and diapers specific journey.
Nurture sequence. Yeah, you have a specific nurture sequence for that.
Yep. And then Denise will obviously reach out for the one-on-one touch. We do find that the women either sign up right away or like one day before the program starts.
Yeah, I know, for sure. For sure.
Now it's very quiet. And then like right before it starts.
The day before, you'll get 3 more signups.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, that's that scarcity and urgency mindset for sure.
Mm-hmm.
Amazing, man. Okay, so first time around, like that first, I guess, January, the first month you guys started running ads?
Yeah, so I think January started running ads, and then the first session after the paid ads were out, I think we had 12 moms in.
Awesome. How much revenue were you guys generating?
Well, we're charging $250 for a 6-week session. And so with 12 moms, that's probably just over $3,000.
And how much did you spend on ads that month?
Gosh, I'm going to say $250.
Wow. That's awesome.
And
what you were telling me before we hopped on, you were saying that this most recent cycle, you've just been able to retain a good chunk of people, right?
Yeah, so it's pretty incredible. This next, the session that we have right now, I want to say 8 out of the 14 moms are repeat customers. So they've stayed on for another 6-week session.
Wow. So that's even higher return on that initial $300 on ads.
Not only that, but some have also opted to come into the regular CrossFit classes. So we're getting full-time members out of it.
There you go. So why do you think they've stayed on? Like what is the process after they, finish after they're getting close to the end of that 6-week mommies and dumbbells and diapers cycle,
Mm-hmm.
what's Denise doing? What kind of outreach or goal setting is happening that you think is contributing to the high retention rate?
So I think part of it is just the culture that she has developed within the program. She has a dumbbells and diapers specific Facebook group where all the moms are chatting and they're talking and they're having fun and they're posting memes and everything. And so I think that it stays current in their news feed. And so they're like, oh, the next session's coming up. And as long as the moms aren't back at work, because we do find that a lot of them do go back to work, but the ones that stay home, they're staying on with the fitness.
Wow. That's awesome. Yeah, no, I think that's great that you're kind of continuing the conversation going, giving an opportunity for mom memes is always great.
Yeah.
So that's awesome. That's great, man. So I guess what do you think has been the key to your success so far? You know, it really sounds like you've been able to make some meaningful changes in your business and your staff, and you've been able to really grow with some of these additional revenue streams. What do you think has been the key to this this, you called it a revolution in your business?
Yeah, revolution or revival. I guess there would be two big things, and it would be having the right person in the right place. So I think Denise is, a perfect fit for this program. She's a fit mom. She has a health background. She's really a role model for these other moms, and she's really driving the happiness and the success in that program. So I think just having the right person there is huge. I think if you had, I don't think a guy would be able to run that program. It has to be a female. And I think ideally it should be someone that's had a baby so they can relate. So the amount of, potential coaches that you could have run the program is fairly small. So I think just having her in there, and then obviously having the marketing to bring the new moms in and make them aware of the program is phenomenal. I found it interesting, even though I target our zip code, just by people liking and sharing the post, we have moms coming from 30, even 45 minutes away.
Wow. So you're getting
out.
Yeah. So some people are sharing it and spreading the word organically a little bit.
There's a lot of organic because people find it, I guess, not fascinating, but like really cool that there's a program for new moms and their babies.
Yeah. It sounds like you've really been able to dial in the market and the message and just been able to provide this service. It seems like there was a gap, and I think especially just having a place, just being able to bring the new baby, and be okay. I think that in and of itself is probably huge for a lot of new moms.
I agree. And it really was a perfect fit because one of the original things was I was trying to think of how we can fill the gym during its empty time. So, the 10:30 a.m., there's nothing going on. And so I was like, why don't we try and get the new moms in then? And, the program took off and now it's a perfect fit.
Something that we do, something we do teach is to have additional revenue streams and different sources of income for your business so that you're not solely relying on the group CrossFit classes or your group fitness classes, right? Offer additional one-on-ones, offer nutrition. But I also think some people, I don't want people to hear this, be like, oh, I got to start that right now. That's going to cure my gym. What would you say to someone who's thinking about adding an additional specialty course or maybe a class for new mothers or parents? When does that person know they're ready, and when should you pump the brakes and focus on dialing in, your service or your staff? What would you say to that person?
That's a good question. I would say one of the things that spurred us to start the program was it wasn't just my wife that had a baby, but there were a couple other members who had kids recently. So we knew that we could get at least, 3 or 4 moms into the program. So it wasn't like we were just jumping in the deep end. We knew we had a couple moms that would come in.
You had a little bit of demand already starting. You had a captive audience already.
Yep. Yeah, that was definitely one thing that encouraged us to jump in was the couple moms that we already had.
Awesome, man. Well, I think that's all we got for today. I mean, if people want to talk more about you and learn more about this program, how you were able to get it off the ground, or some of your other ones, like we didn't have a chance to talk about your teens program, but if people were curious about adding these additional services because they have a lot of families in their area, where can they find you?
So I think the best spot to start is our website. It's cfsimsbury.com, and we have a whole landing page dedicated towards dumbbells and diapers. And thanks to the Facebook marketing with Blake, we have a great intro video with Denise on there and our son Fitzgerald. And all the information is about the program. We do 6-week sessions. We run it Tuesday and Thursday at 10:30 in the morning, and we do have a Saturday class, which has been very popular. We find that Saturdays, the moms come without the babies because they're with the dads. So it's kind of like a freedom class. They're kind of, having more fun with it. And we do allow drop-ins on the Saturday class only. And we charge $20 or $25 for that. And that provides a nice, revenue stream there as well, because a lot of the moms who go back to work can't come Tuesday, Thursday. So they come Saturday without the kid, they pay the 20, $25, and that just bumps the revenue up right there.
Awesome, man. Well, thanks for hopping on today, and I'm excited to see what the rest of the year holds for you and how this program develops.
Thanks, Minte. I appreciate all your guidance, and Blake as well. It's been a great journey so far, and I'm not even a year into it, so I'm really looking forward to it.